Bobby Slowik fired. What now? An addition to the locker room we did not know would happen. Let's get it.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock.
It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. It's been a very busy day. It's been a very active day. A lot of stuff has been said. We'll try to expand the convo, but you know why we're here. And another reason we're here is BetUS is sponsoring the segments. Go to BetUS, use the promo code YouTube150 and get 150% bonus back up to $2,000. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of feeling something. I'm gonna make some crazy decisions with BetUS when it comes to Championship Sunday. I'll do that during this installment of the locker room, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how that treats me as we localize it and talk about the place the Texans want to be. BetUS promo code YouTube150. Deposits up to $2,000. Okay, so Bobby Slowik has been fired. Bobby Slowik is out. Bobby Slowik is no longer the offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans. How does that make you feel? I'll tell you how it makes me feel. It makes me feel like, number one, DeMeco Ryans. He knows what the hell he's doing, I think. It's not the same old Texans. They weren't going to be satisfied with the situation that's going on. And the other thing it means is they know who they're going to hire. And I always think this is funny. You know, I was talking to Stutes and I was talking to a couple other people, and it's like, well, they've got a certain amount. They know who they're going to hire. This is not a process. They'll go through the process, but they know who they want. And they probably have a pretty good idea that who they wants to be here. They can still interview Gerard Johnson. Maybe Gerard Johnson's who they want. They can interview Kubiak. Maybe Kubiak's who they want. They know who they want. They didn't just fire Bobby Slowik and say, all right, now what? Now who do we want to hire? That doesn't work that way. I know we want to believe that. I know it's more fun. Like, we can dummy it down and we can still talk about who they should hire. They know who they're hiring. You won't convince me otherwise. And maybe along the process, they find something that they like a little bit more. Maybe they consume some sort of information, but they know who they're hiring. They know that person wants to be here, and they're just gonna figure it out, and they're gonna go through the appropriate protocol in order to officially make that official. Period. That's how it works. That's how it should work. When you're firing someone who is buddies with the coach and you're handling something as big as an offense. Like, do you really think for the last week? And DeMeco Ryans, to credit to him, man, he damn sure won't give us deadlines about players. I mean, Christian Harris was day to day for damn near 75, 80% of the season. Stephon Diggs, we couldn't get a status update on Stephon Diggs for a couple of days. He'll protect them players. You ask him about Bobby Slowik, I need a week. Week later, boom, homework's in time. You're gone.
Damn it, Bobby.
Bye-bye, Bobby Slowik. So credit to DeMeco Ryans for doing that. It was the right thing to do. Bobby Slowik is an offensive coordinator for someone who doesn't call plays. He would be great in San Francisco. He's a great resource. He's not an alpha male who oversees an offense. He's not a guy who functions in the nitty gritty and the most basic of football situations at a high level. That's not Bobby Slowik. His surroundings weren't great either, and that's another thing that I think needs to really be made clear. And I'm hoping that this isn't how the Texans are looking at it. You went through the fear/acceptance that you thought DeMeco Ryans was going to bring Bobby Slowik back. Now if you have any fear, it's really two fears for me as far as where they go from here. There's two fears. Number one is I hope they don't expect this next offensive coordinator to be some sort of miracle worker. I hope they know that this offensive personnel sucks. Like, there's no other way to put it. The offensive line's not good. It's not because it's poorly coached. Those two things can both be true. The wide receiver depth, awful after the injuries for sure, and what you have moving forward. And y'all don't use your running backs appropriately. So don't expect the next OC to come in here and run it back with these players. If you run it back with these players, maybe it gets a little bit better, but it ain't going to get much better. So hopefully they're going to tweak this roster and they're going to figure some stuff out there. The fear is that they think these players are good and they're just going to run it back. I find that hard to believe. I find that very hard to believe. They got eyes. They're not blind. The next fear that I have, and people are mentioning guys who are already offensive coordinators, you can't do that. It can't be a lateral move. So there's guys being thrown out there, first of all, who aren't going to be here. And second of all, they're not going to leave their current place unless their contract expires. More times than not, if you're a good coordinator, they're not just going to let your contract expire. That's for guys like Eric Bieniemy, who were media creations. But that's not something that's going to happen. Those aren't realistic names. But that's one of my fears when it comes to the Texans, is that they think this guy's just going to come here and they're going to keep the same personnel. That's not happening. I refuse to believe that. If that happens, that would be an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. I'll get to the next kind of nightmarish scenario. And this isn't easy for me to say, but I don't sit here and I don't sugarcoat stuff based on relationships. I don't try to create relationships to boost my own ego. My job is to cover the team, use my media savvy, use the way I talk about sports, and be as honest with the audience as I can. Whether I'm at the flagship, whether I'm doing this, whether I'm in college, writing for the school newspaper, that's how I do it. I'm not going to sit here and say, I keep it 100, because the people who say keep it 100, normally they don't, because you're having to put like a special label on it. But the way that I break down a team is not going to be based on people that I know or people that I like. If I think they perform bad, or I don't think that they should be in certain places, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I want this team to do well. If I don't think it's the right guy, I'm not going to say it. That'll make sense in a second. First, though, let's hear from CJ Stroud. This was CJ Stroud, and we can kind of connect this to what I just said. And after we hear CJ Stroud, I'll explain what the hell I meant by that whole tangent I went on. I promise the dots will connect. Here's CJ Stroud, quarterback of your Texans, talking about what the hell went wrong this year. There was a lot, but apparently his mind wasn't correct. Shout out to Paul Wall and Chamillionaire.
I learned, that you can't get comfortable. Like, there's one thing in this league, being comfortable will get you got. And, I think for me, I wouldn't say that I was comfortable, but I definitely had a feeling like I knew I was going to do well. And even that's dangerous, so, and I would say, man, it's cliche, but you really can control what you can control the controllables. If you can't control it, you can't let it stress you. As best as to your ability. It's easier said than done. So I would say those two of the main things I learned was, don't get comfortable and stay hungry and, control the controllables.
How the hell did he get comfortable? Is that not, that's cool that he understands that. And maybe this season can make him stronger. As he sits right now, though, you don't feel better about him, but he's just sitting there saying that he got comfortable. That's crazy. Some will say, well, last offseason he was going out and he was doing all these media stuff and all that. Okay. Deshaun Watson was too. Before all this stuff. Let's just go first 3 years of Deshaun Watson. He was doing that. Never saw it impact him on the field. Saw him still kind of balling out. So as soon as he gets back in the building, shouldn't that disappear? Shouldn't the coaches catch on to that? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Then CJ says we got to have some uncomfortable conversations. Let's hear CJ talking about that.
Just this week it's overtime, and most of them are individual, and some of them are as a collective. And for me, it's my job to be honest and my job to be transparent, and that's what I feel like I'll do, throughout this time, and with free agency and draft and everything. If my opinion is asked, I'm gonna give it, like it or not. So, yeah, and I think I would like that same type of honesty back to myself, because with that comes clarity, and it comes just clear communication and transparency. So, yeah, it'll be over time, but I definitely think today was the start of that, and we'll continue to have conversations, and and it's a healthy thing. It's not a bad thing. It's really healthy to have those type of conversations, and even if they turn into things where it's confrontation or whatever, that's necessary. We're all men in here mostly, and you figure it out, and and we all got love for one another. You spend years with guys, or you spend a whole year with somebody, you'll learn to like them and learn to have things to like about them. So yeah.
Okay. Whatever. I mean, here's the thing about CJ that I think needs to be asked is, was CJ Stroud part of the problem, or was he part of the solution? I think that's another one of the uncomfortable conversations. Did CJ Stroud, with everything that he could control and everything that he could do, did he handle it as best as he could? Those are kind of conversations that need to be had. If the answer is no, it's not the end all be all if you learn from it. But I would argue that wasn't the case. When he goes up there and he admits what he admitted, I would argue that that's not the case. And that's why, to connect what I was talking about before this, with I'm not going to let like people that I like and stuff impact the way that I assess the team. I'm asking this question for someone that I like, someone that I admire, someone that I think is like the ultimate, like perfect, do it all type of guy, nice guy. I mean, if there were millions of this guys in the world would be a better place. Jerrod Johnson, quarterback coach of the Texans. I keep hearing his name thrown out there, and I'm all ears and I'm all eyes. And I want this to be presented to me as best as it can, because I think there's a lot of disingenuous hype from a lot of national media types. I just think they feel, for whatever reason, that they have to gas up Jerrod Johnson. But we're talking about, and we're talking about appropriately, an offensive staff that at least had a hand in their quarterback not taking the next step. We're talking about a quarterback who says he was too comfortable. We're talking about a quarterback who in season said he wasn't having fun. We're talking about a quarterback who, with the eye test, didn't appear to be as accurate as he was last year. So if we were singing the praises of Bobby Slowik last year, and let's go back to the conversations that we were having. Man, Bobby's doing a good job. Man, you know who else really has a big hand in this? It's Jerrod Johnson. Jerrod Johnson's in all the meetings, man. He's doing a great job with CJ Stroud. He's doing awesome. Chris Strausser, man, this offensive line coach, this is a makeshift offensive line, and they're still finding ways to win games. Just wait to see what happens whenever they get full strength. And let's see how it goes. Chris Strausser's ass is fired. Bobby Slowik's ass is fired. I don't think any of us disagree from it. What's the case for Jerrod Johnson to be your offensive coordinator? What's the case? And I don't care whether he's called plays or not. I don't care. Because the answer can still be yes. I'm just asking, what is the case for Jerrod Johnson to be the offensive coordinator here? Why would you want to hire someone on your own staff to call plays? If you want to keep him as the quarterback coach, that's fine. I'm not like pushing back on that, but in a situation where we all acknowledge that the offensive staff was rough, we acknowledge the quarterback himself acknowledges that the standard, he didn't elevate his play for whatever reason. And if we're going to give CJ Stroud the excuse, can Bobby have the same excuse with personnel? I don't think it's that simple. I think it was the right decision to get rid of Bobby Slowik. But give me the case for Gerard Johnson. Give me the case. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Mike just said, why not Gerard? Open your ears. I just said it. I mean, are you listening? Are you just asking questions? I just said it. I said what the case was for against. It would be an interesting step back if they got rid of Bobby Slowik and then they hired someone who was on the staff and the closest guy to CJ Stroud. That would be interesting. I don't think it makes sense. I like Gerard Johnson. I don't, there's no case to where that makes sense. Doesn't make sense. There's a lot of names that are out there. Chip Kelly's one of the most popular names. Kubiak. Everybody wants a Kubiak. John McClain's trying to get Kubiak to be a consultant. Glory days of Gary Kubiak. I like Gary Kubiak. Shout out to Gary, friend of the show. He's been on the stream twice. Cody Stutes wants to go with the LA Rams pipeline. He wants to get in on that. He kind of wants to bail on the Shanahan thing. It's kind of hard to argue, though, with that recent success. It's hard to argue with the way the Rams look, whether they have full strength squad or not, just the way in which they function, whether they're coming up short or they're getting the job done. It just looks like an offense who knows what the hell they're doing. Look at this. Sean McVay just turned 39 years old. These are his former assistant coaches that are now head coaches. Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, Zach Taylor with the Bengals, Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings, Raheem Morris with the Falcons, Liam Cohen with the Jags, and Fish in Washington. That's a pretty impressive list. Stutes wants to basically hire their O-line coach, and he wants to hire someone there for offensive coordinator. Hard to argue that. It's a hell of a pipeline. ESG Soccer on the soup. Demeek getting his O back. O faces all around. Okay, so no more Demeek. We're going to give him the O because he got rid of Bobby. It's fair. So back to D'Amico. No more Demeek. Fair. See how that goes. I don't know what your name is on there. I'll just read what you said, my friend. He says on the chat, you can't overcome a bleepo line with a good QB coach. He was sacked 60 times as a sophomore QB. That being said, I don't want Gerard Johnson. He hasn't called plays, and he should have confronted Bobby. See, I think this is simpish to me. I think this is a simp mindset. I'll tell you why. Sentence one, you can't overcome a bleepo line with a good QB coach. They did it last year. Like, that's the thing. Like, last year, that was the whole thing. They did it last year. CJ had one of the best rookie seasons of all time. The offensive line wasn't great. So they did it last year. He was sacked 60 times as a sophomore QB. I'm not disagreeing with that, but that simplifying it to that is acting like every sack is the offensive line's fault. We all agree this offensive line sucks. But if you simplify it, like I could wake up from a coma, and I could have gone into a coma before September, the month of September. and I could have not watched a single Texans play this season and then woke up and I could say, well, he got sacked 60 times. That's not on the quarterback. It's not always the case. So you're simplifying that as if the quarterback doesn't have a hand in avoiding being sacked. I think that's simp behavior. That being said, I don't want Gerard Johnson because he hasn't called plays and should have confronted Bobby. That's the ultimate simp behavior. I don't care if he's called plays or not. There's a lot of guys who haven't called plays that they get their first opportunity and they do a good job. If you had that attitude, Sean McVay would have never gotten a job. Sean Payton would have never gotten a job. He hasn't called plays. What does that mean? I don't have like a set thing. Should have confronted Bobby. What do you mean? Try to fight him? So you're excluding Gerard Johnson from any blame and saying that he should have confronted Bobby. What does that mean? Should they have fought? Have you met Gerard Johnson? He's not fighting anyone. Nicest guy in the world. Should have confronted Bobby? What the hell does that mean? I don't get that. Ja'Cory asks, I wonder how much of CJ's opinion is valued when picking the next OC. I don't know. I thought CJ said he wanted to keep Bobby. Maybe he didn't say that behind closed doors. I don't know. I mean, you got to at least talk to him. I don't think they're going to try to put him in position to fail. But you got to at least talk to him. How long do you think it'll take to hire a new OC? I don't know, a week or two. Probably before the combine, at least. After the Super Bowl, who knows? They know who they're hiring, though. I mean, he's already watching tape and probably figuring stuff out. It's not a mystery. They know who they want. They know that guy wants them. Unless something crazy happens, they know. They should know, too. Play the Damn It, Bobby soundbite.
Damn it, Bobby.
Hopefully that doesn't die. Another candidate that keeps coming up. Forget his Jag stint. Doug Peterson is a candidate. He beat the Pats in the Super Bowl. He knows Reed and Mahomes. Philly. We know he's creative. Okay. I mean, we're going back to that Super Bowl. All right. I mean, who knows? Will says you could make an argument that Gerard Johnson might be more at fault than Slowik. Stroud played like he was seeing ghosts. That's my point. Like, why is he excluded from the criticism when he's the quarterback coach? For me, like, if there's a new quarterback coach, like if Gerard gets an opportunity, then it's Case Keenum. I think Case Keenum's ready to go. He's basically been a quarterback coach for the last few years. I think eventually he's going to coach. His old ass might still think he can play. He strikes me as someone like that. I think he might get a rude awakening if he tries to play. But I think eventually Case transitions into the coaching area. So we'll see what happens there. ESG Soccer says we had to replace Slowik. Only was we can potentially revamp the offense without blowing up the salary cap with the overpaid O-line. Yeah, they screwed up. They're overpaying Dalton Schultz. They're overpaying the offensive line. They're going to have to figure some stuff out. They definitely screwed up. Agree with that. So we'll see what the hell they decide to do with Bobby. They want to get to the conference championship. Speaking of the conference championship, BetUS, promo code YouTube 150. Here's what I'm going to do. So we started out the season with about a couple got pretty crazy last week, lost about 800. I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs' ass. So 2,772. I don't even know what my max bet is. I'm going to go $1,000 on the. Right now, I'm going $1,000 on the Bills straight up. I don't need the points. I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills are going to beat their ass. Famous last words. This is $1,000 bet online. I'm taking the Bills. So there's a GUR on that. I think that's it. Also, I think the Bills are going to score over 23.5 points. So we're putting another, let's put 772-67 on that. And we're going heavy on the Bills. So that's about 2 GUR on the Bills. Boom. Don't recommend doing that. I actually can't believe I just did that, but you know what? Screw it. 1,000 on the Bills this week against the Chiefs. Maybe that's a hate bet. Who knows? Hopefully they score that point total and give me some sort of cushion in case the Chiefs do what the Chiefs do, which is win. So a GUR on that. Promo code YouTube 150 if you want to get 150% cash back. We're going to GUR on Buffalo. That's where I'm at. Watch the film says, just want this offense with as much aggression, if not more, than the defense. It just felt like there wasn't much excitement from the sideline. So you want everyone to be more excited about the offense. They didn't give them much to be excited for, though, man. For being fair. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to be excited for with this offense. But they definitely need to catch up in a number of ways. For sure. McCown train, you know I'm always down with that. Just don't know. Don't think it's going to be McCown. Someone says John Gruden. John Gruden, I don't know about that. I mean, his offense is pretty tricky. I think he's more of a head coach. I don't know. I think he deserves another shot, but I don't know about that. ESG, damn, I see where my super chat's going. Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yes, sir. Damn it, Bobby. It might not die. We'll see. Curtis's podcast network. I feel like Slowik played every week with self-imposed handicaps beyond injuries, only to start throwing slants for the first time since week 8. Man, they threw a slant when the clock was stopped and they needed to take a shot in the end zone before the 2-minute warning. That's kind of that kind of summarizes and sums up what the Bobby Slowik experience was like. And I like Bobby. Like, on a personal note, I enjoyed covering Bobby. I liked the back and forth. I like how he effed with me about my hats after I made fun of his hats all the time. But yeah, I like Bobby Slowik. I don't think he's built for it. I don't think he's built for it. And that doesn't make you a failure. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I'm guilty of it, but like in coaching, hey, if you're a quarterback coach, if you're an offensive quality control guy, if you're a D-line coach, whatever the hell you are, you're making a nice living for yourself and you're contributing to the team. There's like a tendency, and I think it's interesting in the Hall of Fame, like the NFL Hall of Fame has all these positions and all these guys that like get into the Hall of Fame that play different positions. Quarterbacks obviously get the favorable treatment, but like it's rare that they just say, okay, this guy's an elite coordinator. Let's put him into the Hall of Fame. It's almost like if you're not a head coach, then it's just frowned upon. And it's not a bad thing if Bobby Slowik's not built to be an offensive coordinator and call plays. I think he's a good resource. I think he's a film nerd who can figure some stuff out, and maybe this experience makes him better. That's the other thing when we're talking about coaches. Like, a lot of times whenever we talk about coaches, it's like you try to look at the worst experience possible as like some sort of evidence as to why that guy sucked. Like, if Bill Belichick, if we go back in time and Bill Belichick, let's say that they have streams or something when Bill Belichick was hired by the Patriots, there's like, oh, he sucked in Cleveland. What are you hiring? He was terrible in Cleveland. Why the hell are they hiring Bill Belichick for? The hell is that? Sometimes the experience will make you better. Like, maybe this makes Bobby Slowik better. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it. I think the mistakes he was making were mistakes that even like the most simple young coach shouldn't be making. A lot of stupid stuff. But it's there's no shame in Bobby Slowik not being a good offensive coordinator. It's not that big of a deal. He's going to make more money than most of us. Like most of the people in this chat, he's going to make more money. He's going to love his job. He's going to do his thing. And the other thing is, I always get a kick out of like the like, well, you don't root for anyone to lose their job. How could you root for Bill O'Brien to lose his job? He got $20 million. Like he got a guaranteed $20 million, and he wasn't a good coach at that point. Like these guys are fine. They're going to be okay. Kids might have to change schools. They'll figure it out. It's not like a real world type of situation. So it's all good. Jay says he's surprised Mike McCarthy. People aren't saying Mike McCarthy with all the Doug Peterson talk. I saw Cecil Short said Mike McCarthy. His videos are really weird. Cecil, yeah, like Mike McCarthy or something like that. Okay. Right. I don't know. That seems like some Madden stuff. I'm looking at this UCLA Washington game right now. I'm trying to see if I want to bet on it in the second half. If I'm being honest, that's what I'm looking up at. Daughter's in the other room acting a fool too, so I'm looking outside at that. But yeah, UCLA is about to hit half. I'm trying to see if I want to bet on that. But yeah, the McCarthy stuff, I don't know where Cecil got that from. That was weird. That was a wild one. Cecil does a good job hyping up the fans, though. Good job as the hype man. Don't know about that. Don't know about all that. Mellow Mike says Bobby isn't a guy that thinks on his feet. His inability to adjust is why he just was a good OC. He just wasn't a good OC, I'm assuming you're saying? I guess. I don't know. Was I being serious about McCown? Yeah, I've been serious about McCown since 2016. I think Josh McCown's destined to be a coach. I think he's a leader. I think he knows quarterbacks better than anyone in the coaching profession. I think his skill set was such to where he was basically an extra coach. I think there's a reason Doug Peterson let him call plays in a preseason game. There was a reason he was getting all that hype. I think he found himself in a bad situation being connected with the Texans where they're kind of trying to think outside the box and kind of speed up the inevitable process a little bit. I think the extra Bieniemy stuff combined with that kind of put him in an awkward spot that he didn't deserve to be in. I think he's doing a hell of a job with Sam Darnold this year. I'm serious about Josh McCown. He's going to he's going to end up an NFL head coach one day, probably a few years. Someone will make him an OC eventually. That'll happen. But yeah, I'm 100%. I'm 100% down with that. Linus says, Lan, you smoking that gas over there. To quote my favorite artist of all time, I think I have like 30 of his mixtapes and albums. I think he's a motivation. He's gone through many eras. He's gone through a lot of growth personally. A lot of his eras are unappreciated. People don't understand. I'm talking about Gucci Mane. When you ask me that question, if I'm on that
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
To quote Gucci Mane, bitch, I might be. Billy says, I feel like we have had a bleep line since LT was traded for. Maybe I'm wrong. Missed the Marion Foster days. That was a hell of a time. I don't know about Byron Leftwich. I liked him. I don't know what his stock is. I don't know. What's up with Byron Leftwich? I don't feel strongly about Byron Leftwich, to be honest with you. Could we see Tunsil and Titus in the Chip Kelly no huddle offense? Best keep the oxygen ready. Laramie's in shape, man. Titus and Shaq are not. Say what you want about Laramie Tunsil, and there's a hell of a lot that you can say. You can question the run blocking. You can question the makeup. You can question the penalties. You can question the accountability. You question whatever you want about Laramie Tunsil. He is in shape. And I think he's gotten in shape every single year that he's been here. The stuff that he can control outside of penalties, he's still really good at what he does. Not everyone can function and move and act the way Laramie Tunsil does. Not everyone has that much God-given ability. But the one thing that I will 100% defend Laramie Tunsil on is he is in shape. He's in really good shape. And it would have been nice if Shaq Mason and Titus Howard would have followed that lead. I think they follow him in other ways. I think following that lead would have been nice. Would we have had 2 winning seasons without Bobby? I don't know. Grass isn't always greener on the other side. Would we have? Don't know. Don't know about that. Arts by D. Ware. Landry, when I was at the Welcome Back event last Saturday after the Chiefs game, some people were chanting false start 78, false start 78. It's an appropriate chant. Happens a lot. Happens a lot. Laramie's the face of the worst offensive line in the league, and he leads them all in penalties. Texans are heading in the right direction. I think you should feel pretty good about it. The fact that they even had the nuts to make this decision. I would agree with that. Drafting an offensive line, do you think that can help? Look, I don't care how you do it. I'm not in favor of drafting offensive linemen in the first round. But they can do it however they want to do it. I don't have like a specific thing. They got to evaluate correctly too. I mean, it's cool to like say, yeah, they need to do this, this, this. I mean, just go through what they've invested in this offensive line. It hasn't been for a lack of caring. And I mean, it hasn't been all Nick Caserio, but let's just go through the investments real quick. Doesn't really assure anything if you don't evaluate. And I think their offensive line evaluation deserves no trust. None. They put Shaq Mason's fat ass right back in the lineup. Maybe I shouldn't have called him a fat ass, but let's just be honest, kind of a fat ass. But they traded 2 firsts and a second for Laramie Tunsil. They used a first-round pick on Titus Howard. They used a first-round pick on Kenyon Green. They used a second-round pick on Juice Scruggs. They used a 6th-round pick on Jared Patterson. They traded for Shaq Mason and made him one of the highest-paid guards in the league. They've made Laramie Tunsil the 2-time highest-paid offensive lineman in NFL history. And despite the fact we'd never seen Titus Howard like as a really, really good tackle, they made him one of the highest-paid tackles in the league. So, like, if you want him to invest in the offensive line, cool. But do you trust the evaluation? Do you trust the investment? They haven't hit on anything. There hasn't been. I would say Patterson's a great 6th-round pick. I'll take that back. Patterson's a great 6th-round pick. Is he starter quality all the time? No, but he can play guard and he can play center. Jared Patterson's a great 6th-round pick. Titus Howard was a good 1st-round pick. That was a Brian Game pick. It was a good 1st-round pick. Crappy contract. He's a guard now. And that was D'Amico and Caserio. Like, no one's absolved from this. Why did Shaq Mason need an extension? How did he reward you for rewarding him? He was probably in the worst shape of his career this year. And that's not mentioned that he was. He was in the worst shape of his career this year. Definitely worse shape than last year. How was that rewarded? How did Titus reward his contract? Say what you want about Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil's been a really solid left tackle every time he's gotten paid. That might not, like, the intangibles might not bleed to the entire offensive line, but he's been solid every time. They didn't trade 2 firsts and a second for him. They wouldn't have done that. I can promise you they wouldn't have done that. But he's rewarded you. Kenyon Green, first-round pick? Come on. Juice Scruggs, second-round pick? Come on. We don't even know if he's a quality starter. They benched him for Shaq. Or they kept him in and then they brought Patterson in. Can't even keep up. So, yeah, you want them to invest in the offensive line, that's fine. I've seen some of the talk has been like as if they don't care about CJ Stroud. He's not getting Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, it was absolute malpractice and neglect with the way he was handled. In this situation, this has as much to do with poor evaluation than anything. And that's the thing. Like, do you trust these guys? Like, do they know what the hell they're doing? Like, I would feel better if I could look at the offensive line and say, okay, they're good at trading for guys. Well, they're not. Well, D'Amico wasn't a part of any of this. Well, he was there when they gave Titus Howard the extension. He was here when they gave Shaq Mason the extension, traded for Shaq. He was here when they drafted Juice Scruggs. He was wanting to run it back with Kenyon Green, didn't even make him compete for a spot in camp. He kept him in the lineup. After we were happy and thought we didn't have to see Shaq Mason play again, they put him in there. I'm proud of D'Amico for doing what he did with Bobby, but forgive me for having trust issues when it comes to offensive line evaluation on this team. Laramie Tunsil's run blocking is nothing to write home about. I agree with that 100%. It is nothing. It is cringe at times watching Laramie Tunsil run block. Newsflash. I'm getting in on this second half Washington UCLA. That's what I was looking up at. UAS. I'm gonna go 50 to win 45. Second half over. Just a good way to start the weekend. So that's what we'll do. 50 to win 43. 73. So we need 74 plus 68 total points. 74 plus 68 equals 142. So we need 142 total points. UCLA, Washington, 142. Let's go. One fall two. Let's go. What is it? What is 142? That's a throwback. Muggsy Bogues, Jackie Robinson. 142. Penny Hardaway, Brett Favre, Deion Sanders college throwback. 142. Robert Pack, Derek Jeter. 142. That used to be how I would say the basketball score. Cebu's asking, what's the best sports bar in Houston? I mean, what are you looking for, sir? It depends, like what kind of vibe is that, you know? That's different. Like, you're looking for grub, you're looking to chill, you're looking to YOLO, you're looking to just pound buckets, you're looking to have like nice cocktails. You want some greasy ass bar food? Do you want some nice bar food? Are you one of those creepers who just wants to look at chicks? Like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, that's a very, very, that's like asking like, what's your favorite food? What's the best sports bar? How about drafting a stud running back and not one in the 6th round? You don't have to tell me. I've wanted every running back ever since I've been covering this team. I'm very pro draft running back. They need multiple running backs. If they just ignore the running back position and expect Joe Mixon to do what he did last year, I think it's malpractice. I want Joe Mixon to be fresh, I don't want to wear down Joe Mixon. I don't want to ask Joe Mixon to be out there for 90% of the snaps. I want someone that warrants giving Joe Mixon rest. Can I get 30? Damn it, Bobby's the super chat wants it. 30's a lot, man.
Damn it, Bobby. Damn it, Bobby. Damn it, Bobby. Damn it, Bobby. Damn it, Bobby.
Let's go 5. They'll be going throughout. I don't think damn it Bobby's gonna die. I might just say damn it Bobby when the next OC screws up. We might just keep that alive. That's one of Bobby Slowik's better contributions, I would say. I don't know about Dameon Pierce. Cam Scatterbo, I mean, what is that? What's that? Is that like a day 2, day 3 draft pick? Scatterbo, that's what I don't know when he's going. Good college player. I don't know how good he's going to be in the league. We'll see. Maybe he goes day 2. I don't think he's like a first-round guy. I don't think that would be that early for him. He can play, though. He knows what the hell he's doing. Figure some stuff out. But, man, it's just hard to imagine him dragging fools like that in the NFL. That's hard to imagine. There'd be a lot of jerseys sold, though. Wherever that dude goes, I can guarantee that's going to be a popular-ass jersey. That's one of those, like, you get ready for training camp. When the fans are, like, at the all-time high. If you draft Scatterbo, man, that is a jersey you got to have out there at that tent at training camp. Man, Bubba, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Race car.
Says he wants an all-white boy draft. Warren, that's Scatterbo. Okay. I don't think I would recommend an all-white draft. I don't think I would recommend that. I don't think that's a recipe for success at all. He was dragging those Texas boys around. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was doing his thing, kinda. I mean, he had a pretty good game. He came on a little bit late. We'll see how that goes. CJ, the top selling NFL jersey last year. See, I'll explain this. I'm not trying to be. I don't want you to think I'm being a hater. So don't think I'm being a hater. I'm just telling you why that is. It's because it was a new jersey. So like when it's when the team gets new uniforms, a lot of times, like if there's a good player and a team like gets completely new uniforms, then the best player on that team or the most popular player on that team is going to have the highest selling jersey. And CJ is still a popular player, and he obviously was like kind of one of the toast of the league last year. But the reason that he was the top selling jersey was because they had new jerseys. So that's that has a lot to do with that, because it's new, kind of a new thread, new look, all that type of stuff. So that's that probably explains that a little bit. But who knows? It's a hell of a way to head into the weekend. Is this considered a Friday news dump? I know normally those come at like 5:00, but I don't know whether you consider this a news dump or not. But it's definitely news. And it'll be interesting to see what their timeline is for figuring this out. I'm sure we'll probably start hearing some names. Aaron Wilson appears to be in the mix on this. God, that dude be talking to agents or something like that. But he's kind of been pretty on this Slowik thing. I had a conversation yesterday where it kind of felt like, maybe he actually might get fired. And if you go back and watch the conversation I had with Meltz on the stream, you kind of read between the lines of the feeling. I mean, I wouldn't have bet on it, but it did seem like it was more of a possibility from between the way that D'Amico answered the question about Bobby. Was that this week? How fast has this week gone by? Like, how long ago does it feel like the Texans played the Chiefs? And why is it that whenever time goes by, like it goes by slow for most people and it goes by fast? Like, you live different lives from people, like as far as schedule and all that. But it seems like whenever you say like, damn, that seems like it was yesterday, everybody feels that way. And you say, damn, when that seems like it was a long time ago, it feels that way. The Texans lost to the Chiefs. Like, what was this, like last week? It hasn't even been a week since the Texans lost to the Chiefs. That's nuts. But I had a feeling about this Slowik thing. Yeah, that's Gavo says, when are you going to get Seth Payne on a stream? I don't know. I'll talk to Seth. I talked to Seth. Me and Seth are closer now than we were when we actually worked together. And that's kind of weird. Like, it's just a little bit more of an understanding. There was a time where it was like, I was a jerk to him. He was a jerk to me. And we just never we professionally, we would handle stuff, but we weren't I respect Seth as a person and I respect Seth's work. And I think him and Sean are really the only radio show worth listening to where you're going to get a full grasp of the Texans. And they're really the only radio show where it's like they're putting in like the appropriate amount of effort. So I actually have a lot of admiration for Seth. We've talked more since I left 610 than when I was actually there. And when we were actually on the same show together. But yeah, I would get Seth on. I like to talk to Seth about the trenches. I enjoy Seth's videos. I think he does an excellent job breaking down everything. I think he's doing a good job too of I think his editing, the way he reacts to highlights is cool. I like Seth's humor sometimes. Sometimes he misses. But yeah, I love Seth as a guy, and I've always admired his knowledge and stuff. So yeah, maybe sometime. Don't know. But yeah, he breaks down plays, which I love. See, and he's good at it. I think there's a lot of jamokes who try to break down film, and it's like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, you ain't got to fake it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fake film study with you. It's boring. It's unnecessary. It's a niche, but that's what he does. There's some guys that I see breaking down film, and I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? And there's also guys that act like they're watching tape and they're just reacting to highlights. A lot of times that's on Twitter. It's like, oh, you look here, this is a 3, blah, 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 blah. It's like, come on, man. Like, when you watch tape, it's boring as hell. It's boring as hell. I couldn't do it. I got too much ADD. But you watch it you watch it at five different ways. It's not just watching a highlight and then reacting to it. That's just not really the way that works. People texting whenever I say some stuff outside. It's my dog, though. Yeah, he was really, Seth was not cool on that. He was not a Slowik guy either. It could not get done. For sure. Wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. We need a damn Super Bowl the next couple of years. Yeah, well, don't know. Good luck on that. I saw that BetUS put out the graphic. I actually tweeted it. They asked who's going to win a Super Bowl first. It's going to be CJ, Dak, Josh Allen. No, they didn't put Josh Allen. CJ, Dak, Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Who wins the Super Bowl first? Don't know. Linus again. He's on fire today. Chip isn't a good head coach, but the clip that Landry played when D'Amico was given his experience with Chip, I think he would be a better coordinator than coach. People forget how revolutionary Chip's first year was. It was crazy. He was set the league on fire, and I think he almost set himself up for failure because he set the expectations so unrealistically high, and then he kind of started feeling himself a little bit. But Chip was that dude. I remember Chip at Oregon. One of my favorite clips, and I thought it was the most damn, this dude is a hardo badass type of moments ever. And don't ask me why I remember this, but it was when Oregon was playing at Boise State to start the season. I think Boise State actually got them. Might have been when LeGarrette Blount. I think it was when LeGarrette Blount punched that dude, but I'm not sure. But they were starting the season at Boise State. Damn, this was a long time ago. And Chip Kelly was playing against Boise. And as you know, like if you're a college football fan, you know that Boise has the blue turf. And ESPN was doing like a stand-up, and they were talking about the what's the Nike dude's name? God dang, what's his name? The dude who founded Nike that's like the big organ booster. Someone help me. Phil Knight. Phil Knight was basically on the side, and they were like talking to him, and they were asking him like, well, you guys do a lot of unorthodox things to prepare for opponents. Like there's crowd noise, and y'all have been known to like use sprinklers for rain and stuff. Like, and they were kind of trying to make a joke, but they were like, why didn't y'all just Phil, why didn't you just pay for blue carpet for the team to practice on before this Boise game? Ho ho ho. This dude did not even like flinch. Phil Knight didn't flinch at all. He just straight up sat there and goes, because Coach Kelly didn't ask me. He goes, because Coach Kelly didn't ask me. He was dead serious. My man would have bought a whole field of blue turf to practice if Chip Kelly had asked him. That's when you got money, and that's when you're about the team. They're trying to make a joke. He was being dead ass serious. And then Chip ended up going to Philly and all that stuff. He didn't mess around at all. It was freaking beast mode. Rico wants to damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all we got today. BetUS, promo code YouTube 150. What am I? $1,800 in on the Bills. 1,000 Bills straight up. 700 point total over. So we'll see how that goes. If you want to get in that in some way, shape, or form, BetUS, promo code YouTube 150 up to 2,000. If you want to go a couple GUR on there, you'll get the 150% bonus. So you should be good there. See how that goes. Also see how this UCLA Washington second half over goes. Should be fun times. Fun times for sure. We got a gift. Bobby Slowik gone. Content don't stop. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy your championship Sunday. Let me know what you're grubbing on. What are you cooking? Holla. We're all in this together.
The game in the headlock, localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.